unimaginable grief. That's how the wife of State Attorney Randall Hector described the aftermath of his murder. At her husband's funeral on Thursday, Sherraine Adenike Hector, along with family and friends, celebrated his life. Sanalala tells us more.
Not a seat was left empty as hundreds turned up to say farewell to their relative, friend, or even as a member of the law fraternity. State Attorney Randall Hector was gunned down on New Year's Day as he left church along Stanmore Avenue in Port of Spain. His wife, Sherraine Adenike Hector, and children were close by during the incident. She described the aftermath of his passing as unimaginable grief, but thanked all for what she called an outpouring of love and prayer.
At this time, when we have been exposed to the worst of humanity in this time of Randall's murder, we have also been exposed to the best of humanity. We thank you so much for your outpouring of prayers, your tangible gifts, your love, your concern, your comfort.
District Pastor of the Stanmore Avenue SDA Church, Dr. Brian De Freitas, said he noticed a different Randall Hector on the night he was killed, noting that Stanmore Avenue had the last of him and the best of him.
At the church All Year's service, that Randall Hector looked very beaming. He was bright. And of course, we realized that that evening he radiated more than ever than we had seen before.
President of the Law Association, Lynette Sweet, noted that Mr. Hector was a dedicated advocate for justice and a fierce protector of the law.
Randall's life was short, but it was purposeful and impactful. He embodied the strength and resilience which our society needs right now in the face of the type of brutal disrespect for life into which our society has descended. We cannot let his legacy be erased by the elements that are set on destroying our nation with heinousness and complete disregard for the sanctity of life.
And the Chief Personnel Officer, Dr. Darrell Dindial, said while he didn't know him personally, his family certainly put their faith in the Almighty despite the circumstances.
I speak today to offer solace and hope. In the uncharted waters of grief, no words can fully describe the pain of losing a loved one. Yet, in moments like these, faith becomes the anchor that steadies us amidst the storm.
Randall Hector died at the age of 43 and was buried at the Crown Street Public Cemetery in Tacarigua. Sonolala, TTT News.
The Law Association is calling on policymakers to put all the requisite measures in place to ensure state institutions are protected. The statement made by President of the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago, Lynette Sweet, speaking to reporters following the funeral of State Attorney Randall Hector. She also said it is imperative that decision makers provide the resources needed to ensure those in such an office are protected.
It is incumbent upon the powers that be to provide the resources to the agencies who would have to be involved, such as, in the first instance, of course, the police, and all of the different arms of the administration of justice, the office of the DPP, the public defender's office, the magistrates' courts, the judiciary, and the higher judiciary, so that we have had the example in other countries of the threat under which these institutions can be put when trying to deal with such an ingrained problem.
Director of Public Prosecutions Roger Gaspard also described his relationship with the former state attorney.
We were professionally very close. He was very loyal, an absolutely brilliant individual, very nimble in terms of processing of thoughts, very analytical, but more importantly, to the extent that I can comment on that, he seemed to be very, very spiritual.